People, let's talk rolling. I've posted a video some days ago where I showcased some rolling, some ukemis. And I thought today I want to share some ideas on how to increase awareness over your back, over your spine basically, how you can round it and roll super smoothly and nicely. This is not going to be a rolling tutorial, so do not expect to learn how to roll after this video. There are plenty of other videos out there, and I also teach rolling in my courses if you're interested in that. But if you do have for example, acrobatic practice, dance practice, martial arts practice, these drills could be super beneficial for you to really increase your awareness over your spine and how to roll a little bit smoother. So an analogy that I like to use is basically you can imagine your back. Today we only stay for rolling over your back, because you can roll also over the front of your body, but I do not want to go into detail. You can think about drills after this one for yourself. We can view the back basically as a huge roadmap, and if you are completely new to rolling, then this roadmap is empty. There are no paths in there. And what we try to do with an ongoing rolling practice is create pathways that slowly go through the body, that will, by practicing often and more, become thicker, basically these pathways, and more clear. So very interestingly and very importantly also, to understand that most of these pathways across the back go diagonally. So why is that? In gymnastics you have a lot of rolls that go like this, and which is completely fine if you practice, for example, on softer floor. But if you practice on harder floor, and also you're maybe one of the more bony people, let's say, where you have really your vertebra sticking out quite a bit, it can potentially hurt to roll straight over your spine like this. So by introducing a diagonal position basically, or rolling diagonally, we only have to cross the spine once, and this is super nice and useful. So instead of going for the forward roll like this, I like to go for the diagonal roll like this, so I only cross the spine once. So by introducing all of these drills that I will show you into your practice, we will basically aim to create solid pathways across the back. Now, also super important, many people out there speak a lot about the ability to extend their spines and to have a lot of range and mobility in this position. For rolling, we need a lot of mobility also in the flexion position. So what you can do before you start this video right here is make sure to maybe warm up a little bit by simply trying to flex your spine as much as possible, really round your spine and try to include each and every vertebra. Many drills out there, you can simply search for spinal flexion drills on YouTube and you will find stuff. What I like to do basically is hold my knees and really flex all the way back, move around a little bit, and this is super nice to simply introduce a nice curvature to the spine. I've had many students who had problems flexing their back a little bit, and when you really want to smoothly roll and you do not have a nice curvature in your back, you tend to hit the floor a little harder with the pelvis sometimes, and this can lead to a not so smooth roll and also to some pain when you hit the floor. So introducing some spinal flexion movements before a rolling practice can be super beneficial. Now, what we want to do right now is start with a very, very nice drill, also to engage the core a little bit, because this is also useful when rolling, that we have some activation right here in the anterior part, the front part of our body, that can then really hold us while doing all of the rolls. So what I like to do for this one is try to sit with extended legs, quite neutrally, try to sit up all the way, and then you roll down to the floor and you try to touch the floor with each and every vertebra. So bit by bit you roll down, you really hold with your abdomen and also the front part of your neck. You roll down all the way until the head hits the floor and you are really soft and slow. And then you can also do the reverse. Either putting your hands to the side to support yourself or keeping them behind yourself. Then you try to do reverse the movement and pull yourself up as much as possible to the back. Super slowly come down again, all the way, very, very slowly. Try to touch now the floor with each and every vertebra, so really holding your abdomen, and then reversing once again and rolling back up. And you can do this for about 3 to 5 times as a very nice move to really warm up and get a feeling how you can use each and every vertebra. Now, a little bit more dynamic drill. You lay on the back. You can do it by either holding your knees so you can flex your back a little bit more, or you just try to do it without. Now, super important, you try to maintain a very hollow shape, so there's a very nice and easy curvature in your spine. And what you do from here is basically simply roll back and forth without letting your pelvis hit the floor. So if I let go of the curvature, there is this, and you can really feel it and also hear it. So really try to keep your pelvis tucked and use your whole spine to roll. Now, when you can do this, you can also try to twist alternatively your pelvis and your upper body and perform basically this rolling ball drill. After some circles, you can really also feel it in the core, which is also a very nice conditioning exercise. And the third one to condition and prepare yourself is basically starting on your back. You cross with the feet at first, so you introduce a spiral with your lower body, and then you try to roll and touch out of the floor with the side of your body, spiraling with your arms and continuing with your legs again. Now in this one, it is really important to try to touch the floor with as many parts, many centimeters of tissue of your torso. So in all of these drills that I showed right now, and the first one rolling down like this, the second one the dynamic one, and then here the spirally one, it is really about getting a sense on how to really push your body into the floor and how to connect the body into the floor to build those pathways. Now, important notice, I am practicing right now on this artificial grass, which is kind of soft, so I can really easily roll and there is nothing that hurts. I don't like put my bones into the floor, and it is quite nice. It also has a downside though, that maybe I am not careful enough, because I can simply roll over this artificial grass. So to start this whole journey of rolling out, it is maybe best to practice on a little bit more harder floor and maybe wearing one more layer of clothing. So by simply putting on a sweater or a hoodie, you can make the hard floor a little softer, and you can practice there and still have the feedback where you could round a little bit more. So after those 3 drills, let's look at some more dynamic variations that you can introduce. The first one, you basically start diagonally, either on the balls of the feet or in the shin box variation. Both are useful for different purposes. I like to be on the balls of my feet, but you can definitely also go from here. Now, what is now super important to understand, I mentioned before, we have this cross, this diagonal line across the back from left side hip to right side shoulder and vice versa. So when now my left leg is backwards, I want to roll backwards, my left butt will touch the floor at first. So I sit down like this, and then I roll diagonally over the right and come back like this, rocking back and forth. And once again, either on the shin or on the balls of the feet, what I like to do. Now, what I do in this one, I also really try to sense which parts of my body, of my back, are touching the floor, and how I can really integrate all of my spine in this motion. Now, when I go on top of my shoulder, I also try to twist my pelvis, and by twisting this pelvis, I get a very nice starter basically for momentum that I can use to roll back up again. You can also try to extend your legs a little bit more in the air here. Really push all the way into the shoulder and feel super, super, super comfortable. Same side as well. And this is a great drill to really understand how the diagonal rolls, forward and backwards rolls work, and how you can really roll smoothly across your whole back without having this hitting in the floor. Now the second one, because right now we were going diagonal over the back, now we want to go from side to side. What you can do right here, you lay on the floor and you simply try to roll to one side, roll to the other side, and this time you want to introduce a curvature in your spine that is basically going like this. So instead of curving here, we now want to curve there, so that there is this curvature going on. I lie on the floor, I curve my spine and go from side to side. Next step would be to really pull the bottom leg towards my elbow, pull them together close, and I can kind of come up in this turtle position. Come back down again, roll from side to side, and simply keep doing this to understand how I can roll across my back now from side to side. People with a more muscular back will probably find this easier because there's a lot more muscle on the floor instead of bones. If it's hard for you to practice on hard floor, I created a video some weeks ago explaining how I like to practice on hard floor. Maybe watch that. Last drill for today is a little bit more circular rolling. So we have the diagonal, we have the side to side, and then we have the circular rolling. Circular rolling, I like to start in this figure 4 position, or C-sit, whatever you want to call it. Basically go down on one side using the hand, the outer blade of the hand, elbow in the hip, swirling your legs around and coming up. This is the basic set. Once again, the main focus is on pressing the back, the musculature of your back into the floor and figuring out a way how you can now roll in a circular fashion. To increase this a little bit more, you can try to really lift your butt from the floor, curve your spine, and now it's basically this sensation like a plate that is rolling across the floor. You can also extend your legs a little bit and catch yourself also with the legs. But this is also not about, for example, this windmill technique. We're not looking at techniques right now, at rolling techniques, just as an idea or ideas or principles on how you can create a little bit more awareness. So circularity, finding this one right here. My teacher, Tom Wexler, had a very nice analogy. Basically, he said once in one of his seminars, imagine there is a nail poking up from the floor, and you want to basically, without hitting the nail is here, you want to roll around this nail. And I find this very interesting, so you can really get the sense of circularity in your spine. Alright, so we have this covered. Introducing nice curvature into your spine, introducing a nice activation, and getting a sense on how to really touch the floor, get in contact with the floor with every different vertebra, and then using this in a more dynamic situation. After this, you can also simply play with a free form and maybe also explore different similar ideas on the front and the side of your body, because you can obviously not only roll over your back, but you can also, for example, roll over the front of your body. Sometimes I really like to roll over the side of my body, so elbow and knee. There is many different opportunities out there, and this was just a little idea that you can use to explore other ideas for yourself. If you have any questions, please do let me know. If you want to share something that has come up through this video, also please do it. Happy practicing.